We're going to squeeze up here because we're recording, so we want to get everybody above the chairs. To start off, how did we get on this journey? Obviously, you guys have a relationship, but how did this film start getting made?
Well, I've been seeing Vince play his show, which he's been doing for a long time now, for a few years, and I knew it was like a really powerful experience that kind of went beyond just the music. It was a community spiritual experience for everybody in the room, including people from all walks of life. So I thought for a long time it would be a good time to make a documentary about Vince, but I wasn't sure if he would go for it, so it took me a while. I ended up going through Paula, the saxophone player. Used to come into my friend's vintage store.
Moist Paula.
We're sorry, Moist Paula. We're sorry that Moist Paula's not here today, but she'll be seeing it soon.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I said no to you several times before I said yes, but I'm glad I finally said yes, yeah.
And he sort of trepidatiously agreed to it.
So related to that, you know, I'm sure you've had people talk to you about your music all the time, but what does it mean to show your musical journey, but also this personal, intimate side that, you know, people may not know about?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm pretty good at showing that on stage all the time too, so it's not too unusual. But I'll have to say that when we showed it to the band for the first time, they had questions, and they saw things that they hadn't seen before. So Nick did a great job of finding, finding things I don't usually talk about. Thanks, Nick.
Well, when was the last time you saw any of that old material, this old playing, non-bearded Vince? When was the last time you saw that guy in footage? Was it like sourcing that kind of stuff? Did he just have it available for you guys, or did you guys have to pull it all together? And what was that experience like?
Thank you, Vince. As the archive producer, we pestered Vince and basically everybody that has hung out with Vince and known Vince and been gone to the shows. So thank you to all those people. There's a ton of diehard Reverend Vince Love Choir fans, and we were like, give us all the footage you possibly have, and that's where a lot of it came from. And then Vince and his family helped with a lot as well. So thank you, Vince.
There are a couple of things that Vince hadn't actually seen before. That girl who's interviewing Vince, that's from like a public access show called Rock and Roll High School, where she lambasts Horton Heat for no reason whatsoever, which I personally think is hilarious.
Now, I mean, you didn't say this, Vince, but could you tell us what does it mean to beat a piano? Could you explain that a bit?
Well, I mean, I've always viewed the piano as a percussion instrument. I mean, it's not a melodic instrument. It's one that you beat rhythm out of. So, and it can take it. It can totally take it. I mean, it's made out of metal and wood. It's fine. I don't know what he was complaining about. I mean, really.
Roscoe's not here, so.
Yeah, we could talk trash about him.
So this is my last one before I open it up to all of you. So get your brains going out there. But I'm curious, as a musical film that's not only performances, but music that's outside of the real world that you're putting in and editing. What is the process of deciding what we want to include, when we want to include it, why, and that whole process for the team?
That's a question for the editor.
Well, there's been multiple versions of the film, obviously. Like, a lot of songs were cut out, and if you go see Reverend Vince and the Love Choir on a Monday night, which you all should do, Union Pool, it's a 2-3 hour show. So this is just scratches the surface. So a lot of it's just seeing what works. Process of elimination. Getting it down to where it feels like a movie, like it feels watchable. So there's not really like a magic formula, but it took a while. We edited this for many months, so it was. But that was the fun part.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Reverend Vince's songs that are like 7 to 12 minutes long. So it's pretty hard to include that kind of stuff in a documentary. So we did our best. Paul did a great job cutting them down, finding ways to cut the songs down, and it goes pretty close to the order that it does in an actual Reverend Vince show, mostly.
All right, I'm looking out toward the audience. Are there any questions out there? Yes, sir, here in the front.
Yeah, thanks. I think the film represents some people that are doing it, there's a whole movement of us, doesn't get a lot of media. You know, you hear the other side of Christianity, but we're here too. Yeah.
What is Vince, please tell. Well, I forget now. Why am I blanking on it? What's it called?
Vote Common Good.
No, what was the festival that we went to but we didn't make it into the film?
Wild Goose Festival.
Wild Goose Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to see.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you want to see many thousands of progressive Christians hanging out in rural Appalachia next to a river that Nick and I jumped into because it was like 100 degrees.
And some woman told us it had E. coli in it.
Yeah, then they told us it had E. coli. Whatever. We're here. Wild Goose Festival is, there are, as Vince was saying, there's a ton. We were surprised, how much energy there is around this kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, there's a certain amount of that comes in when you've shot it, but I guess Paul really helped me cut down hundreds of hours. I mean, I kind of like to go in with a little bit intentionally, with kind of no intention, and film kind of everything and see what the real story is that needs to be told, and it wants to tell itself. So Paul did a great job cutting out stuff, and we knew that we wanted to show Vince's music and Vince's activism and Vince as a person, and finding a way to blend that together so there's an actual arc to it is the hard part.
Yeah, I mean, a great example, which made me very hungry, was the scene towards the end in the meat market, and it was the in certain regard, like sometimes that might be considered like a throwaway scene, but to us it was like really kind of this like fun, beautiful scene that's all about institutions and being part of a community, and Vince is just going to buy supplies to make a sandwich, but the scene becomes about much more than that. So that's one specific example I would give.
I saw one in the back shoot up. Is that still up, or is it going back to? Oh, okay.
It's called the Ridgewood European Pork Store. I mean, I am a hermit. It's how you do it. I mean, I'm very introverted. And so right now my leg's shaking. I'm petrified of this experience. And so I find myself, like, I guess a good story to answer that question would be, very often I'm on the train and someone will come up to me and say, "Oh, Reverend Vince Anderson," and I get really shy, and then I realize that I'm stuck with this person now until one of us leaves, right? And they often ask the same question that you just asked, like, but in a different way. They see me and they kind of see me calm like this, not a Tasmanian devil mixed with the Holy Spirit, as Billy said. And they say, "Well, I'm surprised. You're so calm." And I have to be. I mean, I guess I don't know what people want from me. Like, "Hi, how you doing? It's so good to see you." "Does it stop at Lorimer?" So I do find like the Reverend is a persona of me. It's all me, but it's just a really big version of me. And then I find a small place that I can rest, so that I don't get burnt out. I'll let Nick answer that first.
Yeah, so this is Billy asking the question. You guys remember from the beginning of the film, played with Reverend Vince at the very beginning. Stand up, Billy.
All the Love Choir.
Yeah. And then while we're having people stand up, some of the Love Choir is here, many are not, but Smuda and Dan, will you guys stand up? Wherever Dan is. There they are.
I think Jesse's here.
Jesse, you're part of the Love Choir too. We have to have Jesse. There he is.
Millicent's here, of course.
Millicent, of course. Vince's wife is here.
Bud is here.
Even though she might not want to be pointed out.
Bud Schmilling.
Bud, you saw Bud talking about his about Black Betty, his bar he used to own, wherever he is. Bud, give a shout out. And some of the crew isn't here. David, the camera person, messed up his ankle after riding home from being chilled out in my inflatable hot tub. So he's all messed up now. But Nelson is here, who make the film look super beautiful. Nelson, will you stand up? There he is. Okay.
No, that's great.
You didn't answer Billy's
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot about Billy's question. The film is going plenty of places. We're going to go to Minneapolis this weekend for Sound Unseen. Then we're coming back, and then we're going to try to take the film and Vince and the band on the road together and try to do as many shows and screenings together as we can. So stay tuned next year for that. All these music cities will be there.
Yes.
That's awesome. I mean, I would love for you guys to be able to give your final word and what you would like to say about the film or this experience, or Vince, anything about your journey here, that your life's on screen that you would like the audience to know.
You go first.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out. It's been a long year and a half, or however long it's been. You have to wait through COVID, and it's nice to have everybody in the theater here. So I thank you guys all for coming and supporting independent cinema, and it's just really great. And hopefully everybody will come and see Reverend Vince play this Monday. Oh, and there's two more screenings. And there's two more screenings, yeah. There's
Yeah,
still
so
tickets
tell
for
your
Tuesday,
friends there's
so
still
tell your
tickets for
friends to
Tuesday,
get
yeah.
Tuesday, yeah.
Well, about the 5th year into filming, I was getting really nervous because I was thinking Nick was like waiting for the ending. Like heart attack, financial ruin, I don't know. Like it just got to that point where it was like, I think you got what you need, and now are you waiting for just everything to fall to pieces? But he didn't make that documentary. He didn't Tiger King me. He made a beautiful, beautiful documentary that shows me with everything and all the communities, and you didn't, you didn't shy away from things that I think a lot of other people might, and I'm very thankful that you were the one to tell that story.
Thank you, Vince.
Thank you.
Let's
And
give him a round of
and to
applause.
everybody. Yeah.